All right. Good morning, class, and welcome today for our class. So today we will be doing Unit 7, which is extreme situations. Okay, if you have your textbooks with you, this is a Form 3 lesson, and this lesson is found in your close-up textbook on page 83. All right. Okay, just let's look at the picture here. Okay, can you see the picture of the guy jumping? Can you all see that?
Yes, teacher.
All right. So
Yeah,
do you know what is that? Do you know what is that or not? What is it trying to do? If you have your book, you can actually see there's a little caption there. What is it? What is it trying to do?
rope jumping.
Yeah. All right. This is actually a mixture. A man is like rope jumping. It's a new extreme sports which combines the thrill of rock climbing, bungee jumping, and sky diving into one. Okay. Not everybody is, not everyone here, they dare do this kind of extreme sports. I think if you ask me, I think I don't dare. Anyone here dare do this kind of extreme sports? Or
I
anyone has
will.
tried doing? Oh, you will. Okay. See, so it depends on individual. Some people, they are daring, they can do, but not everyone likes doing like this. All right. Okay. So today we will be looking at our this text on survival in Andes. All right. So, okay. So before we start reading, okay, let's just look at this. Okay. Read the breaking news about a real life story. Okay. Who are the people in the story and where were they? Okay. And where were they going? What do you think happened? All right. So before that, just look at this box, this breaking news. Okay, so this is the timeline of what happened. All right. Thursday, October 12th, 1972. Okay, remember, this is a real story. This really happened on October 12th, 1972. Okay, Flight 571, carrying Uruguay's championship rugby team, took off from the Montevideo, Uruguay, heading to Santiago, Chile. On the plane were 45 people, the crew, the Uruguayan players, and their friends and relatives. Soon after takeoff, the plane had to stop in Mendoza, Argentina because of bad weather. Okay, on Friday, October 13th, 2:18 p.m., Flight 571 took off again, heading for Santiago. Okay, and then on Friday, October 13th, 3:20 p.m., about an hour into the flight, the pilots begin the descent into Santiago, not realizing the plane was still close to the high peaks of the Andes mountain. All right. Okay, so that's an overview. So what you think happened? Any wild guesses? What do you think? We haven't read the story yet. So this is just a little overview of what happened. So what do you think would have happened?
Plane crash.
Okay, you think it's a plane crash. Okay, come. Now let's read let's read the story. All right, so survival in Andes. So this is found on page 84 and 85 of your close-up textbook. All right, so let's look at this. On Friday, October 13th, 1972, a plane that had been flying from Uruguay to Chile with 45 people on board crashed into a mountain in the Andes. Okay, how some of the passengers managed to live is one of the great survival stories. 29 people died in the crash and in the weeks following it. On the mountain, it was freezing cold and the survivors stayed inside the crashed plane to stay warm. They had very little food and were in very great danger while they waited for a rescue team. After 11 days on the mountain, they found a small radio on the plane and they heard the news that the rescue team had stopped searching for them. All hope was gone. They were alone and terrified. Days became weeks, 2 months after the crash. After they had waited for summer to arrive, three of the passengers, Roberto Canessa, Nando Parado, and Antonio Visitin, left to search for help. Okay, each man wore three pairs of socks with a plastic bag around each foot to keep the water out, boots, four pairs of trousers, and four jumpers. Many of the clothes were from the people who had died in the crash. They also took with them a large sleeping bag that they had made. Only they could save the others now. How did these brave young men cope with the journey? None of them had climbed mountains before, and it was hard. They climbed very dangerous icy peaks, trying to reach the top of the mountain. Some days later, exhausted and cold, they reached it. They had imagined this moment for days. On the other side of the mountain, they wanted to see a valley below that could take them out of the mountains. But instead of a valley, they saw more of the same snowy peaks. Lots, lots of them. They weren't near the end of the mountains, they were in the middle of them. What could they do now? But there was still hope. Parado saw two low peaks about 65 kilometers away that didn't have snow on them. If they could get there, they would be out of the high Andes. But to reach the peaks, they would need to walk for more days and they didn't have enough food. But Parado had a solution. Visitin could return to the plane and he and Canessa would take his food. They agreed on the plan and Canessa and Parado continued their journey. As they walked, the area around them slowly began to change. The man discovered a small river. The sun was warmer. After a few days of walking, the snow had disappeared completely and flowers were everywhere. This is the valley, Kanisa said excitedly. This is the way out. Soon, they saw few cans on the ground and some farm animals in the field. They knew there must be people somewhere nearby. On December 21st, after 10 days, the exhausted man reached the town of Los Menitas in Chile, and a rescue team went to save other passengers high up in the Andes. What had happened to them? Fortunately, they had all survived and they waited for the others to get help. The memories of the crash in the Andes would be with them forever. But their ordeal was over. They had made it out alive. All right, so this is a real story. This really happened. So now this writer is actually explaining the story, what has happened. Okay, they are telling the story again. Okay, he's just explaining what has happened. Okay, this the past events. They are actually talking about the past events. All right. Okay, so survival meaning people who came out of some danger. Okay, and then they had when they heard when they found a radio in the plane, and what happened was they heard that the news said the search and rescue has stopped. So nobody's going to look for these people who crashed, this plane crash people and all that. All right. So you see, it says in paragraph 3, days became weeks, 2 months after the crash. All right. They waited for summer. Only then, these three people, Roberto Canessa, Nando Parado, as well as Antonio Visitin, they decided, I think it is time for us to leave this mountain and go and find for help. All right. So they wore all the, like they wore people who they are dead, they wore their clothes and all that. And they managed to walk and walk and walk, climbed all the snowy mountains and all that. You see, the more they kept on going, they were looking at more trouble. You know, they climbed up one mountain, and when they come down, it is not that they see help, they see another mountain that they need to climb. So they kept on facing a lot of problems as they were trying to find help to save the others. Okay, so okay, so then let's look at this one. Okay, then the next paragraph, what happened? All right, so they were actually very exhausted. Okay, and wait okay, so they were very exhausted. Then they decided to continue their journey. So when they came to one point, they decided that one person must leave. They don't have enough food. They only have food for two people. It's enough for two people to go and find help. So what they did was they asked one person to go back. Okay, not that the person was not of help. The reason why that person had to go back is because of not enough of food. Okay, they were just using all the supply that they had in the plane. You see, okay, let's look at this paragraph here. Okay, okay, Parado saw two low peaks, okay, 65 kilometers away. All right, if they could go there, they would be out of the high enders. All right, so and then you see, but to reach the peaks, they would need to walk for more days, and they didn't have enough food. See, they don't have enough food because they are human beings. If they don't have food, they have no energy to climb the mountains. So what they did? So Parado came up with one solution. So he said, okay, visiting, it's best that you could go back to the plane, to the crash site. You be with the others. So we will take your food, and the two of us will continue our journey to find help. So they agreed on the plan, and Canessa and Parado continued their journey. And then finally, they came to a small town. All right, so this is a real story. If you actually go and Google survival in the Andes, right? If you go and Google about this plane crash, it is a true story. You can see real pictures. All right, real pictures online. This happened in 1972. All right, so I hope you understood this. Okay, but to give you a better understanding, I've actually come up with a video. Okay, this is my own video using all the notes here and also photos from online. I found real photos of the survival, and I've come up with the video. Okay, I want you to watch this video to get a better understanding. All right. Okay. So before we watch that, so this was what happened as you read earlier, right? So this is what happened at the beginning. Okay. You see, on October 12, 1972. Okay. And then they actually stopped, and then they flew again on October 13. All right. So you see, the date here. See, they went on October 13, and then you see when they were found, December 21st. See, that's a very long journey they actually had in the snowy mountains. All right, okay, let's watch this. All right. Okay, so I guess you had a better understanding with the video. Did you all? Did you understand better with the video?
Yeah.
Yes.
All right. All right. So you see, when you read and you watch a video, of course, you will understand when you read. But if you watch the video, you get a better understanding of what really happened. And most of the pictures that I got there in that video are the real pictures of the survivors. All right. Although many died, and there were also many who survived. All right. So their ordeal is over. Although that was their problem. You know, the thing that they never thought that their plane will crash. And it crashed and they actually survived. Some died and some survived. All right. So let's look at the next task. Okay, let's look at task C. Read the exam close up, then read the exam task and underline the keywords. All right. Okay, just now I've already showed you the keywords. All right. So now let's look at the exam task. Okay, read the text and questions below. For each question, choose the correct letter A, B, C, or D. Okay, let's look at number 1. What is the writer doing in this text? What is the answer? A. Giving advice on how to survive. B. Explaining incredible past events, showing that air travel is dangerous. And D. Writing an imaginative story. So what is the answer for number 1?
B.
Again, is it B?
D.
B.
B.
All right. Explaining incredible past events. Okay. The person is actually talking about what has happened in the past. Okay. That's correct. Okay. Let's look at number 2. Why were the 3 men disappointed? A. The view from the mountain was not very good. They didn't know how to return to the plane. C. They realized they had more problems. And D. They had not brought enough warm clothes. Okay, what do you think is the answer? A, B, C, or D?
C.
Again?
C.
C. Okay, let's check our answer. Okay, the answer is C. All right. Why they said that they had more problems? Because every time they climb one mountain and they come down, they thought they can already reach the valley, but there were still more mountains to cross. All right. Number 3, Visitin returned to the crash site because A. He had lost hope. B. He didn't agree with Parado's solution. C. He didn't want to walk any further. And D. There wasn't enough food for 3 people. So what is the answer? What's the answer? A, B, C, or D?
D.
D. All right, let's check our answer. Yes, the answer is D. Okay, although 3 of them went out to look for help, but because of not enough of food, they had to send one person back so that the other 2 can use that food to survive on their journey to go and find help. Okay, number 4, Parado and Kanesa knew they were close to safety because, okay, what was the thing that they saw that, they knew that there were people already there? Okay, what? A, they saw things that belonged to people. B, they discovered a river. C, they had been walking for 10 days. And D, there were flowers in the snow.
A.
A. Okay, they saw things that belong to people. Okay, yes. All right, because the text said they saw food cans, like the sardine can, all those food cans. They saw that kind of things because if there is no human beings living there, they may not see this kind of cans. All right, so when they saw that, they knew, okay, I think there's some human beings living here who use these things. All right, okay, number 5. Which best describes what happened to the people on flight 571? All right. A, the survivors of the crash waited for many weeks in the plane for someone to find and rescue them. B, tragically, 29 people died when the plane they were traveling crashed into a mountain in the Andes. C, in a terrible situation and with no hope at all, the survivors found a way to save themselves. Okay, D, to stay warm in the freezing cold, they wore the clothes of the people who had died in the crash. Okay, which one you think really explains about this flight 571? A, B, C, or D?
C.
C. All right. Okay. The answer is C. All right. Because the others are also general. So this one, you see, when they heard the radio said, the news said what? All the search and rescue has been stopped because they can't find that flight. Yet, these people who were alive, they decided that they are going to go and find for help. And finally, were they successful or not?
Yes.
Yes, all right. It was the greatest thing in their life that they managed to find help and all the others were rescued. All right. Okay. So just now, these were the words that we underlined in our text. Okay. Find the meaning of the words below in the text, then complete the sentences below. Okay. Cope with means you try to manage with something. Okay. Search, you know, you have to go and search. Okay. Survive means the person is not dead. They are alive. Okay, and then save is to go and help. And then crash, you know, the plane crash. And reach means you have actually reached a destination. Okay, let's try to answer these 6 questions. Okay, you will blank the car if you don't know how to drive it properly. Okay, what is the correct answer?
Crash.
You will crash, is it?
Yes.
Okay, let's check our answer. All right, you will crash the car. All right. Okay, crash means it's an accident. Okay, number 2. Is it possible
Crash.
to blank in the jungle if you know how to find food? Okay, what do you think is answer number 2? It is possible to survive,
Survive.
is it? Okay, let's check. Okay, let's check our answer. Yes, the answer is survive in the jungle. Okay, number 3. There were many problems and Harry didn't blank them very well. Okay, what is the answer? There were many problems and Harry didn't what?
With.
Cope with, is it? Okay, let's check. All right. Okay, answer is cope with. All right. Okay, let's look at number 4. They were in the middle of the desert, so nobody could.
Save.
Okay, answer is safe. Okay, number 5. After we
Which?
reach the river, we'll rest before we cross to the other side. Okay, number 6. Rescue teams will continue to.
Search.
Search.
All right,
Search.
search. All right, very good. Okay, so these are the words that's okay that we have already filled in the blanks. Okay, so now let's look at this. So this is your homework. Write some more sentences in your notebook using the words in D. Okay, just now the words, right? Cope with, search, survive, save, crash, and reach. Okay, I'm going to give you one example. Okay, she is unable to cope with her homework. All right, so what you have to do is you use these words and you can come up with any sentence. Understand? All right, so I will send this homework later to your class Telegram group. All right, so before we end, okay, survival can be summed up in 3 words. Never give up. Okay, that's the heart of it really. Just keep trying. You see this crash side, if those people, the 3 people did not take the initiative to go and find for help, they may probably freeze and just die there without food and not enough of clothes and all that because it's too cold in the icy mountains. All right. Okay. So thank you for joining today's class.